I'm going to talk about past lives today. There's an aspect to it that's sorely missed and not understood broadly, so I want you to be a good student today. No chewing gum in class. Sit up straight and be ready to learn something here. All right, here we go.
1951, I rolled up my sleeves and started to investigate the whole track. Because in 1950, late 1950, it had started to raise its ugly and unseemly head. And auditors who would run into it and try to audit it, and PCs who dare bring it up, of course, ran into a considerable social ostracism of one character or another. That was not done. The first foundation board tried to pass a regulation, a board ruling to the effect that nobody would ever look at, believe in, or investigate past lives, and so forth. And yet auditors, in auditing them, kept running into them, you see.
The subject of past lives isn't all that controversial anymore, but as you just heard L. Ron Hubbard describe back in the early days of Dianetics, it was controversial. Now what I want to make, the point of this video is I'm going to get to in just a second, but there's some context that you need to have. First is understanding that back in the early days when Dianetics was first being used and being developed, things were coming up. People were mentioning things in their auditing that obviously could not have come from the current lifetime. They were regressing down into, they were looking for prenatal and early life, this lifetime stuff, but people were coming up with whole track or stuff on the far back, previous lifetime incidents. But the important thing to remember is they were in pursuit of a therapy to help the individual get better. And it's important to contrast that with a lot of times when you see people talking about past lives or doing hypnotic, using hypnosis or other techniques to regress people. It's sort of a parlor trick. They're not necessarily interested in a rehabilitation or a therapy. And other people are interested in getting their name out there, becoming famous, and others have an agenda that is can be used for something like a treasure hunt or whatever. And there's various things that have come up that are interesting, like we have an article at Scientolopedia about indigo children. These are obviously children that they're gifted, they're empaths, they have they're the savants or whatnot, obviously skills and knowledge that did not come from the present life. So I don't think that the existence of past life is much in debate, but you're free to believe them or not. The point I need to make is that we're only dealing with them because there's aberration on the whole track. Things have been done to you and you've done things to others, let's be honest. And things have happened on the whole track that adversely affect you in your present life and your present spiritual quest. And we can't get at those things if we don't go down the whole track. So that's why we deal with it, and the only important thing that we have to look for on the whole track is the whole track charge. Now charge, when we say charge, I'm going to put up the definition here, but it's harmful energy or force that's accumulated or stored in the reactive mind. We're going to be doing other videos about the reactive mind and what that is and whatnot, but that's the part of your mind that's causing troubles in present time. We're trying to deal with the present time individual, how to fix him. So stored things in the reactive mind from past lives can adversely affect the individual in the present. So this charge, which is resulting from conflicts and unpleasant experiences that a person has had, on the whole track, not just this life. But auditing discharges that charge. So that is so that it's no longer there to affect the individual. That's what we're after in dealing with whole track incidents in past lives. We're not interested in whether or not you were Cleopatra or Caesar or Adolf Hitler for that matter. It doesn't matter. We don't need the details of, the specific date and time, and we don't need the full recall of the whole lifetime. And people are fascinated with past lives because, they want to go, oh wow, last lifetime I was running a major corporation, or I was king of Siam or something. And they find that they think that that's important. It's not important. You can skip over all those lives because the bad news is you've had many. People think, well, I had a past life. That is like laughable. When you get a little experience with auditing and have had some experience going down the past track, you will quickly realize that the numbers of past lives is quite significant. So we're not interested in the specific data of the past lives. We're interested in the charge that can be found there, letting you view it in present time and recognize that that no longer needs to have any effect on you in your present life. Like in Dianetic technique, one goes down that track, down, back until you find the basic source of a current present time illness or upset or bad attitude or addiction to drugs or all kinds of things. The emotions and so forth that are pent up and that are irrational are found way back on the whole track, and that charge is released. We don't care whether you were a pope a pauper, a prince or a king. What's that song? How's that song go? A poet, a pauper, a prince, or a king. It doesn't matter. And we don't care about the details of, who you were married to, how many children you had, what your job was, what skills you had, and whether or not you were there, when Moses came down from the mountain. It doesn't matter. What matters was there's some traumatic aspect that was in those lifetimes. Did you make certain postulates way back then? And now we're going to have to go and define postulates. But did you make decisions as a being, as a spiritual being, way back in the past lives that are carrying on through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime until there you are sitting wherever you're sitting right now, and you've got those same postulates, those same decisions about people, about life, about marriage, about on and on, about physical health and so forth. And it's bothering you now, and it will bother you next lifetime unless you get auditing, unless you get it relieved in auditing. So we're only interested in getting the charge off the case. Charge off the case. That's what auditing is. That's what Scientology is. If you're not getting charge off the case, you're just wasting your time. Well, if you're learning something, that's good, all well and good. But the goal, the target, is to get to the point where you can learn some techniques to get yourself running processes that result in charge off the case. All right? I hope that cleared a point up, and if you have other ideas or questions about past lives, I'll have to do other shows or videos on this in various aspects, but I wanted to get that point out there that it doesn't matter a hoot the story, what you did, who you were, whatever in the past life. It's, can we get some charge off the case that relieves or alleviates something that is adversely affecting you today in present time? All right. Thank you. Remember to comment and follow us and support us through Patreon. Do all those good things. Come on. Get with it. Help us out here. All right. Take care.